Hello students, Sai Ram. I welcome you all to the part 5 of chapter number 4, sorting materials into groups. In today's session, we are going to complete this chapter by studying the last property of material, that is transparency. Before that, we have seen the properties of materials are appearance, hardness, solubility in water, density, and today we are going to continue with the property of materials, that is transparency. Children, as you all love to play hide and seek, when you are playing hide and seek at home, where would you like to hide, children? Either behind sofa or bed or behind window? Your answer is very simple. You will hide behind the sofa or bed, not behind a glass window. Because when you hide behind a sofa or bed, no one will be able to find you, as you are not visible to them. But if you will hide behind a glass window, anyone can get you very easily, because you are visible to them. Take one more example. In a bakery shop or in any shop, cakes or biscuits, brownies, pastries, all these things are kept behind the transparent mirror, so that it can attract buyers easily. Even this makes customers to see what all things are there in the bakery shop. Even you have noticed that the cash deposit box in the shop is not made up of glass. It is made up of such material that anyone cannot see into it. On the basis of transparency, the materials are classified as transparent materials, translucent materials, and opaque materials. Substances through which we can see object placed on the other side clearly are known as transparent materials, or substances which allow light to pass through them completely are known as transparent materials. Examples of transparent materials are glass, cellophane, plastic. Cellophane plastic, children, you must have used this cellophane plastic to cover your notebooks, so that you can see the name of the textbook or your name sticker very easily, as it is transparent. Next is translucent materials. Substances through which we can see partially are called as translucent materials. Or in other words, we can say that substances which allow light to pass through them partially are known as translucent materials. But examples of translucent materials are butter paper, oily paper, frosted glass, or a very thin cloth. These are the examples of translucent materials. Next type of the material is opaque materials. Substances through which we cannot see at all are called as opaque materials, and this property is called as opacity. Or we can say that substances which do not allow light to pass through them are known as opaque materials. That's why in hide and seek game we hide behind the opaque objects or materials, so that no one can get us very easily. Now, examples of opaque materials are wood, steel, plastic, etc. Now, let's study some important points. All solids are opaque materials, but some solids such as glass, plastic are transparent materials. Most liquids are transparent in their pure form, for example water. But milk is a liquid which is not transparent. We cannot see the other side of a glass full of milk. Even all gases are colorless. All gases, whether they are colorless or colored gases, are transparent in nature. For example, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide are some colorless transparent gases, whereas chlorine, whose color is pale yellow, and nitrogen dioxide, which is brown in color, are some colored transparent gases. Now children, can you see on the screen? Here two children, they are playing football. Here one child is playing football with rubber football and other is trying to kick a metal ball. Here children, what will happen if you don't choose a proper material for making the object? Yes? Then you have to face such situation like shown on the screen. You are easily able to play with the rubber football while playing with the metal ball. If you will kick that metal ball, you are going to hurt yourself. In order to make objects for specific needs, we must understand the property of materials. Properties of materials we discussed in the last session are appearance, then hardness, then lustrous materials or non-lustrous materials. Then we have studied the property, that is sorting materials on the basis of solubility. Then we have seen the property of materials on the basis of whether that material floats or sinks in the water. Then at last we have seen transparency. Now we will see this property. We will revise this property once again quickly. Appearance. Children, here appearance gives idea about the visual look of the material. If materials appears shiny, then we say that it have a property of luster. Usually metals have luster. If you don't see luster on the metals, try to rub the metal surface with the sandpaper and you will see the metallic luster. Other materials which did not have luster are known as non-lustrous materials. Similarly, some objects are hard while others are soft. With the term hardness, we mean that materials does not allow to change its shape. It does not allow anything to go into it or scratch over it, or it does not break easily, are known as hard materials. In opposite to this, materials which changes its shape, allow scratching over it or break easily are known as soft materials. Then we studied the next property, which is solubility. In this children, we have seen when we add materials such as sugar, salt, lemon juice, vinegar, etc. in water, then they completely disappear in water. That means they get completely dissolved in water. Then we can say that these materials are soluble in water, while other materials such as sand, chalk powder, coconut oil, kerosene, etc. does not disappear in water. Thus, these materials we call them as they are insoluble in water. Then the next property we have seen is ability to float. Some materials such as wood, plastic, rubber have everything to stay on the surface of water. We see these materials can float on water very easily. There are other materials such as metals, sand, stone, etc. which when dropped in water goes at the bottom. That means these materials do not float on water. Next property we have seen is transparency. Materials like glass, water, etc. allow us to look through them completely. Such materials are called transparent materials. Some materials such as wood, mud, sand do not allow us to look through them, are called as opaque materials. There are some materials, for example, trace paper, oily paper, etc., which allows us to look through them partially. Such materials are called translucent materials. Here children, we have finished with the explanation and revision of chapter number 4, sorting materials into groups. Children, read this chapter thoroughly from the textbook. If you have any doubt or any query, you can ask me in the live session. Till then, goodbye children.